And now let's get down to the big political story of the day, or the one that's coming up, and that is the Bihar election. And in that context, the Supreme Court just a short while ago expressed serious doubts over the Election Commission's plan to hold a special intensive revision, SIR, of Bihar's electoral rolls months before the election that's coming up, possibly in November, December this year. In a high-stakes hearing a short while ago, which included arguments on disenfranchisement and determinants of citizenship, the court told the Election Commission, your exercise is not the problem, it is the timing. We have serious doubts if you can manage this exercise with such a big population, an estimated 8 crore people in Bihar being subject to this intensive review. Is it possible to link this to the forthcoming election? The court also red-flagged the decision to exclude Aadhaar from the list of documents deemed acceptable for individuals to re-verify themselves on the state's electoral roll. So the Supreme Court said, your enumeration exercise is related to identity. The entire exercise is primarily about identity only. So you have a situation where the Supreme Court has now said that they are not going to stop the enumeration exercise, they're not going to stop the voter revision, but they've suggested that Aadhaar and voter IDs also be compatible IDs for this exercise. So this is being seen as some sort of relief for the Election Commission, but also an advisory coming in from the top court that unlike earlier, they will have to consider Aadhaar and voter IDs as well.
आपकी पहली प्रतिक्रिया क्या है? 3 चीज जो आप डिमांड कर रहे थे वो आपको मिल गई है?
देखिए, मैं समझता हूं कि सबसे पहले तो माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का शुक्रिया। हाहाकार मचा हुआ था पूरे बिहार में, जिंदगियां उथल पुथल में थी और लगातार नेता प्रतिपक्ष तेजस्वी जी प्रेस के माध्यम से, आप लोगों के माध्यम से इलेक्शन कमीशन जाकर के दिल्ली और पटना वस्तु स्थिति से अवगत करा रहे थे। जो एक मेजर इश्यू था उस पर एक समझिए कि एक दिशा दी गई है इलेक्शन कमीशन को। एग्जैक्ट अगर मैं वर्ड कहूं माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का कि प्राइमा फेसी वी बिलीव दैट इलेक्शन कमीशन मस्ट कंसीडर, यानी कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि ये जो 3 दस्तावेज हैं, आधार कार्ड, ईपीआईसी वोटर आईडी कार्ड और राशन कार्ड, को उन दस्तावेजों की श्रृंखला में शामिल करना चाहिए ताकि मैक्सिमम लोग इंक्लूड किए जा सके और तथावार प्रगति या रोड ब्लॉक के बारे में पुनः एक सुनवाई की तिथि 28 तारीख की रखी गई है, जुलाई के महीने में।
लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यह भी कहा कि प्रक्रिया जारी रहेगी, जो इसी ने की।
जी, उन्होंने कहा कि प्रक्रिया जारी रहेगी, लेकिन वो उसका अवलोकन भी करते रहेंगे। और एक महत्वपूर्ण मांग जो पूरे बिहार से थी, महागठबंधन से थी, और तेजस्वी जी जिसको वर्बलाइज कर रहे थे कि आप दस्तावेजों की श्रृंखला को बढ़ाइए ताकि जिसका पेनिट्रेशन, जिन दस्तावेज की उपलब्धता का पेनिट्रेशन ज़्यादा है, तो ताकि सामूहिक और व्यापक भागीदारी सुनिश्चित हो सके। उस संबंध में मैं सोचता हूं कि लोगों को रिलीफ मिला है।
लाखों लोगों की जीत मानते हैं?
मैं समझता हूं करोड़ों बिहारियों की जीत है और अभी कई मंजिलें देखनी है। इस प्रक्रिया को पारदर्शी बने रहना चाहिए, भागीदारी से भरपूर होना चाहिए और अप्रोच ये होना चाहिए कि ये इंक्लूजन में तब्दील हो, एक्सक्लूजन में तब्दील ना हो।
उन लोगों के लिए क्या कहेंगे जो इसी के पहले डिसीजन को डिफेंड कर रहे थे?
देखिए, मैं उनको यही कहूँगा कि कभी कभी ऐसे कुछ मौके आते हैं जब दलीय दायरों से ऊपर होकर के सोचना होगा इसमें किस पे मार पड़ती, गरीब लोगों पे पड़ती, दलित, पिछड़े, अल्पसंख्यक मुसलमानों पे मार पड़ती। जो बाहर है 25 दिन के अंदर वो कैसे सारे दस्तावेज जुटा पाएगा? और उनमें से कई दस्तावेज ऐसे थे जिसके लिए एक ऑफिस से दूसरे ऑफिस का चक्कर लगाना था। मैं समझता हूं कि माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने एक दिशा दी है।
Mr. Yogendra Yadav will tell us more about what happened in the Supreme Court today.
Many of us went to the court today, led by Association for Democratic Reforms, PUCL. These are organizations with long-term credibility of working on it. As you said, I was also one of the petitioners. And the question asked was that universal adult franchise is being threatened. There is a serious danger, apprehension of disenfranchisement. The court was very sensitive to those questions, and the court repeatedly asked the Election Commission, tell us on what basis are you not accepting Aadhaar, which is mentioned in your own rules, why do you not accept Epic card, which you have yourself issued? Why not accept ration card? The court also asked question about the timelines that they have set in Bihar and said that this looks like a timeline which cannot be fulfilled, especially because it involves giving every single person a right to hearing if they are not included in the list. The Election Commission really had no answer to those questions, but the court was kind and has said that court has made preliminary prima facie observation that in the interest of justice, all these documents should be accepted. We have to see on the 28th whether that happens or not. But to my mind, the court has put the ECI on a very short leash. Either change your list or we will take a view. To my mind, that's a great victory for many of us who said right from day one that this list and this particular procedure was completely malafide.
सुनवाई तो 28 को जारी रहेगी, पर आज क्या आदेश दिया सुप्रीम?
देखिए, आज जो याचिकाकर्ताओं का जो मेन अटैक था कि आधार कार्ड को रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया है। आधार कार्ड को इलेक्शन कमीशन वेरिफिकेशन के दरमियान कंसीडर नहीं कर रही है, जिससे कि वोटर्स का जो राइट टू वोट है वो लार्ज स्केल पे अफेक्ट हो रहा है। लेकिन जब इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अपना रिप्लाई दिया और इलेक्शन कमीशन ने माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय को कन्विंस किया कि जो आधार कार्ड है उससे सिटीजनशिप या उनके वोटर्स को राइट को इस्टेब्लिश नहीं किया जा सकता है, और इस सिलसिले में उन्होंने आधार कार्ड एक्ट का रेफरेंस दिया। प्रमा फेसाई माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय इलेक्शन कमीशन की इस दलील से सहमत हुआ, इसीलिए उन्होंने किसी भी तरह का इंटरिम आदेश पारित करने से मना कर दिया। अदालत के मूड को भांपते हुए जितने पिटिशनर्स थे उन्होंने अपने इंटरिम रिलीफ के एप्लीकेशन को प्रेस नहीं किया।
NDTV's Nupur Dogra is live with me from the Supreme Court. Maria Shakil is with us, tracking the story very closely from the NDTV studios. Nupur, very quickly to you first. There's a lot of different readings as to what the Supreme Court has said right now, and it looks like each side is seeing a certain degree of relief for themselves. Can you break it down for us procedurally, what this means now?
Well, Shiv, this question is in everyone's mind, and I will just tell you two major statements by the Supreme Court with this regard, which will make it clear that where the Supreme Court stand is. The Supreme Court at very first, while dictating its order, said that it is in the interest of justice. This is the prima facie opinion of the Supreme Court, that it is in interest of justice that Aadhaar, ration card and the voter ID issued by Election Commission of India should be enumerated and be included with when it comes to the documents that would be considered under the SIR. Remember, only 11 documents were listed, but Aadhaar was not a part of it. Top court today grilled ECI over why Aadhaar card was excluded when the Representations of People Act clearly identifies Aadhaar as a proof of identity. Now, secondly, the Supreme Court has, in its order itself, while dictating order, said that this issue goes to the roots of democracy. This is just the first hearing. And in observing that this issue goes to the roots of democracy, the Supreme Court said that it wants to hear the matter at length before passing any order.
Okay.
So it has asked for a detailed response from the ECI as well as rejoinders from all the petitioners till 20th July. And on 20th July, after hearing the detailed response, the Supreme Court will decide what it wants to do, whether it wants to go for an interim stay, whether it wants to de-link the procedure from Bihar election. So these will be two important issues to watch out if the top court allows de-linking of this entire process from Bihar elections.
Very interesting, and I wonder how they could possibly manage to do that, and 28th is not very far away. Maria, how are you reading this?
Look, if you look at the petition which was before the Supreme Court, the petitioners had not really asked for a stay of this entire exercise which is currently being undertaken in Bihar. Remember, Shiv, 60% of the voters have submitted their documents and the remaining 40% will be submitting so in the next 14 days. The Election Commission's own assessment is that the entire exercise in Bihar will be wrapped up in the next 14 days. Among the petitioners was also the Trinamool Congress MP. the sense in the opposition is that this doesn't stop only in Bihar. That next year, when the elections will be held in Assam and in the state of Bengal, these are states which have a high minority population. Similar exercise may be conducted by the Election Commission. So it may not have immediate repercussions on Bihar right now because the petitioners, as I've been speaking to a number of them, they say that this is a very, very favorable order because they wanted the Aadhaar and also the ration card to be included as one of those, among those 11 documents which are seen as a proof of identification. That is what they wanted. This is what they are saying, that that the Supreme Court is now in agreement with them that there is more documents which are needed, so that because this entire exercise will continue, and because it will not stop only in Bihar, it will continue in other states which go to polls later this year. That is the reason why, even if the Supreme Court takes this up, say after 2 weeks, it will be seen as to how it plays out in other states.
Lots to expect. Let's see what happens on the 28th of July, and Nupur and Maria and our team will be tracking that very closely. Remember, Bihar is the big electoral finale of 2025. What a year it's already been.